Hello, and welcome to The Discriminating Gamer, the board game review show that always wondered why the sun never went to college, until it realized it already had 1,000,000 degrees. Little astronomy humor? No? Ladies and gentlemen, today we're going to go ahead and take a look at Ant-Man, the legendary expansion from Upper Deck. In Ant-Man, an expansion to Legendary, a Marvel deck-building game from Upper Deck, players, of course, are going to take on the role of Ant-Man, the Wasp, and his friends, as, of course, they battle the evil forces of Ultron and Morgan Le Fay. So this is a new game. It's got it's a small box expansion. It's got some new rules, some new keywords, and some fun new cards. Let's take a look. Now, like previous editions of Legendary, this has size changing. Of course, size changing, if you play a certain symbol, then that card, when you purchase it, is worth 2 recruit points less. It's a it's a fairly common thing, as I say, we've seen before. But this one now has microscopic size changing. Now, microscopic size changing essentially means that for every symbol you have, and you could have, you could say microscopic size changing, 2, 3, 7, whatever. For every symbol you have, it goes down by 2. So it builds on each other. And in fact, if it builds so much that you've got more symbols than you would need recruit points, you actually don't even necessarily have to spend recruit points for that card. And if you have more recruit points, or more symbols rather, then you can essentially make change. And then you have that many more recruit points in order to spend on other heroes. Now, you have something here called Empowered, and this works for both heroes and villains. Essentially, we'll say, the symbol Empowered. And what that means is, when you look at the HQ, if there are any heroes in the HQ that have that particular symbol, you get Empowered for every one that has that symbol. For instance, if you've got the Tech symbol, and you've got 3 cards in the HQ that have Tech, that card would be Empowered by 3 points, either Recruit or Attack. Just like that, however, you have villains that will become empowered using those symbols as well, and they too will look to the heroes in the HQ. If they see that they've got those specific symbols, then they get empowered. They're that much harder to defeat in that case. You also have something here called Chivalrous Duel. This is kind of the followers of Morgan Le Fay here. Essentially what this means, what the Chivalrous Duel means, is that you can only play a certain type of named hero to defeat that card. So you can't mix and match. You can't just add up all of the attack that you've got from all your cards. They can only come from a certain kind of hero, whether it's, Ant-Man, they all have to be Ant-Man. The Wasp, they all have to be the Wasp. If they're Shield Troopers, they all have to be Shield Troopers. But you cannot mix and match. And again, that can make things very interesting. Now, also, you have 2 masterminds in this game. The masterminds, of course, are Ultron, whom Harold Pym created, and then, of course, you have got the Morgan Le Fay. Now, there's one interesting thing here with Ultron. Essentially, he's got a threat analysis, and at certain times you could be required to put a card into his threat analysis of a certain color or a distinct color. And what this means is, if there's a symbol on that card, then that symbol again is going to be empowered by the HQ, and it'll make it that much harder to defeat the Ultron when the time comes to battle him. Now, you have 2 new villain groups. So for Ultron, of course, you've got Ultron's Legacy, and Ultron always leads Ultron's Legacy. And for Morgan Le Fay, you have the Queen's Vengeance. She always leads the Queen's Vengeance villain group. Now, of course, like all new small box expansions, you have 4 new schemes specifically for this set. Now, the first scheme is Age of Ultron. For Age of Ultron, you have 11 twists. If you have 4 to 5 players, you add another hero. But you put the top card of the hero deck next to the scheme in an evolution pile. Then this twist enters the city as an evolution Ultron. Essentially, evolved Ultrons have 4 more attack points and are empowered by each color in their evolution pile. They're worth 6 victory points. Now, evil wins when 7 evolved Ultrons are in the city and or escape pile. You have Pull Earth into Medieval Times. Now, Pull Earth into Medieval Times is interesting. You have 9 twists on 1 through 6. Until the start of the next turn, all villains and masterminds everywhere have chivalrous duel. On twist 7 to 9, each player puts a villain from their victory pile into the escape pile. Evil wins when 3 villains per player have escaped. Trap Heroes in the Multiverse has 11 twists, and you add all 14 cards for an extra hero to the villain deck. Now, the special rules here are the heroes in the villain deck are micro-sized villains with their attack equal to the printed cost. They have size changing for their card color and no other abilities while in the city. When you fight one, choose any player to gain it as a hero. Now, the twist, you play 2 cards from the villain deck, and Evil wins when 3 villains per player have escaped or the villain deck runs out. Finally, you have transformed commuters into giant ants. Don't you hate it when that happens? In this scheme, twists are equal to the number of players plus 6. When twists are revealed, you stack this twist next to the scheme. Then for each twist in that stack, you put a bystander face down next to the mastermind as a 2 attack strength giant ant villain. When you fight one, you rescue it as a bystander. Now, Evil wins when there are 10 giant ants next to the mastermind. Now, of course, this game has 5 new heroes it brings to the game. You have Ant-Man, you have the Wasp, you have Jocasta, you have Wonder Man, and you have the Black Knight. The Black Knight? Batman? No, that's the Dark Knight. This is the Black Knight. Now, they've all got some really cool cards. For instance, Ant-Man's most expensive card is Pym Particles. It's got microscopic size changing of 5 tech symbol, and a hero in the HQ with no size changing abilities gains a size changing 5 for this turn. It costs 9, and it's got 5 attack value. You've got Black Knight's The Ebony Blade. This card costs 7, and it's got a variable attack strength. You get plus attack equal to the printed attack of a villain in your victory pile. Now, Mastermind tactics don't work here. You just have to take out a villain, someone you've already defeated, that you can use their printed attack value as the attack value for that card. For Wonder Man, you've got 8th Wonder of the World. Now, with this card, it is a cost 8, and it is a base attack of 4. It's got size changing of strength. You choose any number of cards from the HQ, you put them at the bottom of the hero deck, then you get empowered by the blue crosshair symbol and strength symbols. You've got Wasp, Founding Avenger. Now, this card has a base cost of 9 and a base attack of 4. It's got microscopic size changing of 5 range. Now, if you play with another Avengers card, you get +1 for each other Avengers card played during that turn. You've got Jocasta, Electromagnetic Eye Beams. With this card, you got a base cost of 7 and a base attack of 5. If your discard pile is empty, you get +2 attack. Otherwise, you shuffle your discard pile into your deck. So it's got some really fun and interesting heroes that can do some fun and interesting things, and some fun new rules here. This is another small box expansion, which means it's got just a lot of fun little goodies, build upon previous things. The size changing is really cool here. It builds upon previous size changing, but now you got the microscopic size changing, which allows you to add those up and together. That's a lot of fun as well. Schemes are good. The Giant Ants one is really intense. You got to decide, do I want to use my attack value to go after those ants to clear it, or do I go after the regular villains who are trying to escape through the city? Ultron is a bad, bad boy. He's a lot of fun to play, but that threat analysis is brutal. It empowers him, and it's bad. All told, this is another fantastic expansion for Legendary. You know I'm a Legendary completist, and I certainly like this one. Now, I have to say, with all of that being said, again, if you're looking, if you're new to Legendary, or if you don't have everything, there are probably other better small box expansions I'd recommend before this one. Certainly the Captain America, Paint the Town Red, even Guardians of the Galaxy I liked a lot. Noir was really good. Daredevil was good. There's a lot of really good small box expansions I love for Legendary that I would probably recommend before this one. So this is not maybe my top tier of Legendary small box expansions, but I do like it a lot. If you're a completist, I think you're definitely going to want to pick this one up. I really, really do enjoy it. Recommendation for the Discriminating Gamer for Ant-Man, the Legendary Marvel deck building game expansion, is buy it. Thank you once again for joining us today on The Discriminating Gamer. As always, we ask you to please leave a comment for us on YouTube, on Board Game Geek, on our Facebook page, or on discriminatinggamer.com. We ask you to please like us on Facebook, subscribe to us on YouTube, and follow us on Twitter. We are The Discriminating Gamer, and I got to tell you, ladies and gentlemen, as I'm recording this, I'm deeply anticipating Avengers Endgame. I think it's going to be absolutely fantastic. Conversely, I couldn't care less about the new Star Wars film. It's just, The Last Jedi just killed it for me, so. Please somebody help me.
meet again. And I don't know where I'm going, and I don't know where I've been. Please somebody help me on the solid ground. It's a long time, and I'll be dying. Once a year I wind up in the band.
But wait, Cody, how do you win or lose the game?